All right, good morning, everyone, and happy Wednesday, July 9th, and welcome to my live trading room session. So excited to have you here as I wanted to really showcase the new live trading room pre-market prep screen for you guys, as I've been working with many of the live trading students over the past several months and years now, just always wanting to continue to make improvements. So that's what we've done. We've added some more options for the spotlight picks. I'm going to go over that and also discuss tomorrow's Trading Traps 90-minute event. So first and foremost, welcome to the live trading room. Here is what the new prep screen is going to look like. You can see it's a little bit different from the previous one, but based on your feedback and looking for more picks to trade each day, I wanted to include some more rows here to give you a better idea of different markets that may have setups. Now, again, the prep screen is always changing, so I am open to more suggestions, but to give you an idea of what the new grid looks like, it's going to be similar to the old one, just more options in that we have the setup that's going to be a hot trade for today. So the ticker, you can see for today's session, we're going to be looking at gold, we're looking at bonds, oil, the Dow 30, and natural gas. I give you guys the daily setup so you know what exactly we're looking for. Many of you guys have been in the previous classes, so you should be pretty familiar. It tells you what sort of trade we're taking on the daily time frame. So whether we're looking at a two candle flip, wick over wick reversal, double-sided breakout, that gives you an idea of what the daily chart is telling us as far as who's in control. Is it the buyers? Is it the sellers? And we base it off of that daily setup. Then we come over to the trade. So are we going long or are we going short based on the daily setup? And then is it going to be a long-term trade or a short-term trade? If it says long-term trade, that means we're trading along with the higher time frame trend. If it's a short-term trade, it may be a counter trend trade. The target is going to be an opposing zone. So whatever we're seeing on the other side of where there's opposing buyers or sellers. And then I break it down for you guys and giving you the entry price and the stop price. So entry, stop, and then also the time frame that I find that zone on. So you'll see it kind of varies depending on what the exact setup is that we're looking at. So in some cases, I'll find a zone on a 1 hour time frame or a 20-minute. Sometimes I'll find a zone on a daily time frame. Either way, you have that zone, the entry, the stop to gauge whether it fits within your risk parameters, and then you can go down to that time frame to find the zone yourself. Any questions on that so far? All good for right now? Again, pretty busy prep screen. For the trading tip of the day, for today's session, again, I'll give you a different one here, but again, the event that's going to be one that's based off of your feedback and requests is going to be the Trading Traps event tomorrow from 2 to 3:30 p.m. Eastern. When you register, you do get the recording of that event. And why this is an important event is because a lot of us fall for the same setups as far as what trades we're looking at. And we want to be able to understand when we're making mistakes, why that's the case. So I'll be teaching you why great trade setups fail and the number one reason why traders get stopped out. So I'll post the link in the chat to register for that event. And then I also want to let you guys know that I've been working with someone who was able, the link in the chat first. So that's the link to register for tomorrow's 90-minute $99 event. When you register, you'll notice that this screen is different as well. I've been working with someone who's been able to create coding for the two candle flip. This is something that many of you guys have requested in the past, but I didn't have at the time. But if you are interested in coding for the two candle flip, pretty much identifying a two candle flip that's been activated, when you register for tomorrow's event, I'll include that coding in the follow-up email. So to give you an idea of what that is, if I come over to, let me just bring up the chart I have on the screen here. So platinum, for example, Wherever there's a green arrow, maybe I can even, I'll leave it green for now. So you can see the light green arrow on many of these candles. What the light green arrow shows you is an activated two candle flip. So if I come to the left of that arrow, we have a red candle coming down, the green candle closing within the range of the red candle. And who can tell me, when is a two candle flip activated? So we have a red and a green candle, two candle flip, which is our signature price pattern. When is a two candle flip activated? Yes, when what's broken? Red candle, the green candle. Yeah, there we go. So above the green candle high, exactly. Awesome. Break the second candle. Excellent, excellent. Nice job, Russ, Stan. Yep, so when it breaks that green candle high, that's when it's activated. So you'll notice that on Platinum on this daily time frame, we have a green arrow on this candle here because that's the candle that activates the setup. So I took away a lot of the noise of just finding random two candle flips that didn't activate. This will only show you the two candle flips that do activate. So on this one, you can see that two candle flip was activated and we had a strong move away. Now, a couple things here. There's a lot to share with you guys. Let me see who knows this. When we have a strong breakout and a strong move away, what does that tell us about the location of the zone? As far as when we're looking to buy on price pulling back to the two candle flip. Price pulled back here because this had a strong breakout. Where do we typically look for our zone? Do we look for it in the two candle flip in the upper 50% or the lower 50%? Nice job, Greg, Mark. Yeah, so the stronger the breakout, the stronger the momentum that we're seeing. Yeah, there we go, the upper 50%. So if you're new, that's okay. Again, I'm just kind of putting different things out there for you guys to see. When you have your zone like this isolated and you see that it's been activated, a good kind of trick to find where your zone is going to be located is put on that 50% marker on your charts. So notice when I put that on, that divides up my two candle flip into two kind of segments. We have an upper segment, the lower segment. You guys told me we'll look for our zone in the upper segment because it had a strong breakout. What makes this strong is that it took out this prior pivot. It had a strong breakout. So then we start narrowing down that two candle flip into segments. You can see when price came back to that upper 50% range, that was the trade opportunity. And that was based off of the marker and the coding that identified the two candle flip. So hold on, let me go back for a second. I think, hey, Dwayne. So Dwayne asked for what platform the coding is available for. I have it on Thinkorswim, and for non-Thinkorswim users, let me bring it up on my other screen. I also have TradingView. I think many of you guys use TradingView, so I wanted to create coding for that as well. Let me see if I can bring that up. All right. Yeah, TradingView is a good resource too. So it's also on TradingView where you'll be able to get the coding. Here's another chart. So we've got, let's see, how about this one that we have from today? We have a red and green candle. Here's the coding showing us that this is when the two candle flip was activated. Now, was this a strong breakout or a weak breakout of this two candle flip? Did this two candle flip have a strong breakout or a weak breakout? Yeah, very strong, right? It closed high, it took out this pivot point, strong breakaway. So again, you would just add on your 50% line. So when price pulls back, we could see that this was the day we were looking for a long trade, either 2 days ago or yesterday. Price came back to the upper 50%. And again, the coding's really nice if you want kind of that additional support to find when a two candle flip's been activated. And then when you find it, you can put your lines around it and then look for the trade opportunities when price pulls back to the two candle flip. So if you're interested, just sign up for the event tomorrow and I'll include it. And I'll be going over kind of how we can use that throughout the event and moving forward. But nice little resource. Any questions on that, let me know. Let's see. Let's keep going. I do want to get into the spotlight picks. Thanks, Terry. But to get a kind of a heads up on the event tomorrow, I wanted to give you guys some quiz questions, and you'll notice as we go along, it's based off of your feedback. So where are the trading traps that you commonly see in the markets? And what are the tips as far as what we need to do to help fix those bad habits moving forward? So let me start with this one. I've got crude oil on a 15-minute time frame. And this could be any time frame, but this is just the one that I pulled up for illustration. So crude oil, we have a wick over wick reversal zone here. Price is pulling back to the zone and we're looking for a long trade, right? So we have a zone, it had a strong breakout. We're looking to buy when price pulls back to the zone. Now, question for you guys, where do you typically place your stop? Just a general point. When you identify a zone and you're looking for risk management, where do you place your stop when you're taking a zone trade? Yeah, thanks, Greg and Dan. Typically, when we're taking a zone trade, we place our stop below or above the zone. In our classes, we typically do one tick below or above the zone to minimize risk. Now, how many of you guys have been in this situation where you place your stop one tick, or maybe you even give it a couple more ticks, and this happens to you where price stops you out by a few ticks just to go in your direction after? Does that happen to any of you guys where you have your zone, you have your stop, it breaks through, you get frustrated because it stops you out, and then it keeps going in your direction? I figured, and I'm like, okay, this is a common trading trap, obviously, because the banks and institution they know where our stops are, so they're able to push price through our zones, and then ultimately price moves in the direction in which we're looking for. So I've been there too. So student request, how do you respond? This is going to be one of the topics in tomorrow's event, going over just really kind of the details of, understanding how do you guys get back in? Do you have a systematic way to get back in? Are you getting back in a zone trade? Are you trying to take a breakout trade? Are you just trying to jump in at any point and you don't really have a reason to get back in? Or do you get frustrated because it stopped you out, you think you're wrong, and you move on to a different chart? A lot of these are very kind of subjective and emotion based. So what we're going to be doing in the event is when you get stopped out by a few ticks, learning when it's a trap and understanding how to get back into a trade that ultimately moves in your direction. So that's number one. Again, it seems like a good one. How about this one? Crude oil wick over wick reversal buy zone. Price is pulling back to that zone. So now this is more of the quiz question. What do you guys think? Is this going to be a big move to the upside? Or is it getting ready for a big move down? What do you think? Oh, and shout out to Terry for that last topic that'll be included. You'll see several other students. I'm going to be including your requests in this PowerPoint. But what do you think? This zone right here. Are we getting ready for a big move up? Or are we looking for the short trade? Dan says down. Anyone else want to take a guess? Wayne says short, Russ says short. Let's see, the answer is it is short, big move down. This is a long trade trap. So another common trap is that when people start trying to buy and pick bottoms or zones, So the request on this one from Callie that I wanted to incorporate is, when has a trend started reversing? And for Callie, she spends a lot of time on the low time frames with crude oil. So I wanted to include this for her. But I also want to show you kind of those tips and tricks to understand when has the trend started reversing on the high time frames as well as the low time frames, so that we understand what direction we're looking to trade in. In this case, we were looking for the short trade. So this was key in this at this point. And what we'll be seeing during the event and how we visualize when a trend has started reversing is when we get these fake out breakouts where price is breaking through resistance. And then as we start coming down, we start breaking through support levels. That can be a telltale sign of a reversal starting to happen, and we want to be able to pay attention to that. So again, that's kind of just one little trick right there, is the fake out breakout, but I'll give you some more details of what to look for to identify when the trend has reversed. All right, how about this one? I think this is 3 of 3. We've got crude oil daily time frame. So now for the higher time frame traders, this 2 candle flip, what is your bias? So are we looking to buy on the next candle, or would we be looking to sell on the next candle? Let me think. Who's buying, who's selling? Dwayne says buy, Terry says sell. Michael says sell, Dan says sell. Tom says buy. It's a little bit mixed on this one. Mark is selling. I'll just back forth, back forth. Donna's buying, Greg's selling. It's a continuation doji. One for buy, or another for buy. Tricky, tricky. What's your bias and why? The trend is up. However, confirmed 2 candle flip. Yeah, so when does a 2 candle flip become confirmed? So this question, I like this one. I got a lot of answers on this one. So because we're mixed on this one's going to be an important topic. All right, the answer is sell. All right, so this became a sell. Nice job, Mark, on that one. That did end up being a continuation doji. So now how can we tell? So this goes into the importance of who is in control. I want to give a shout out to Tom for this one. I want to go into more detail of how do we understand trade direction when we're kind of mixed, right? I would say about 50% said they were going long, 50% said they were going short. So how can we be consistent? It all boils down to the fact that this is a pending zone, meaning that it hasn't broken above that high yet. So a pending zone is going to be elevated risk. Now, what I'll be teaching you guys to avoid some of these traps of going long here is asking yourself who is in control at this point, the buyers or the sellers. And at this point, who can tell me why the sellers were in control? This 2 candle flip wasn't activated, but what was? There we go. Nice job, Dan. Anyone else see that? Double-sided breakout. We've got this candle here. Price broke above it, broke below it. The double-sided breakout, for me, one of the strongest setups for trade direction. Double-sided breakout on a daily chart, price rallying into it. That tells us the sellers are in control at this point, and we should be looking for a short trade. The buyers aren't in control. It's just pulling back up to the double-sided breakout. As Mark mentioned, that's going to be more of a continuation pattern. All right, if you have any questions on that one, let me know. So all of that is going to be, again, included in tomorrow's event. Make sure that you get registered. Zoom links will be sent out today. So the link is in the chat. It's going to be tomorrow, July 10th from 2 to 3:30 p.m. Eastern. I have more of your feedback that I'm going to be incorporating in the event. And if there's anything else you want to see, just let me know in an email. And keep in mind that when you register, you will get that coding for the 2 candle flip. Either just let me know if you prefer to use it on Thinkorswim or TradingView, and then I can try to work to get TradeStation coding. I'm just not sure because I don't use TradeStation, but when you register, you'll get that coding. Just make sure you let me know in the email which platform you use. All right, let's get into our trades for the day. We'll go through our spotlight trades. If there's anything you guys are seeing, let me know, and I'll be sure to jump over to those first. All right, let me clear off Platinum. And let's start at the top. Okay, so we've got gold. This is the first one. The setup, which we always start with on the daily time frame since we're taking trades each day. Daily setup is double-sided breakout, which has been activated, looking to go short. So let's come over to gold. And I'm going to remove the arrows in this case. But you can see how useful it can be. Look at some of the previous ones. We had this red and green here, 2 candle flip. It was activated on this third candle. That's why it has the green arrow. Put my lines around it. Price came right back to it. Notice that this had a strong breakout and price came back to the upper 50%. So pretty cool once you start putting all this together. Now for today, we start doing things a little bit differently. So we want to focus in on what's going on real time over here on gold. So you'll notice that the setup that we have is the double-sided breakout that's been activated to go short. So where is that double-sided breakout? We had one up here that we used previously. Price came back to it and we had a short trade from there. Now we have a new double-sided breakout. So this green candle, notice the following red candle from yesterday, broke above that green candle high and then broke below the green candle low. So that's our double-sided breakout, and it tells us we should look for a short trade inside those daily lines. So that gives us the range of which we're looking for. Looking for a short trade there. Our target is going to be the opposing 2 candle flip, which is really this guy over to the left. So we're going to look for a short trade and then take profit as price comes further down into that 2 candle flip zone. Just to keep it cleaner, I'm just going to focus in on our daily short trade setup here. So double-sided breakout. And then I found our entry and stop on a 1-hour time frame. 33.40 to 33.49. Let's come down to a 1-hour. Now, who can tell me before I go down to the 1-hour, this double-sided breakout, so it broke out to the upside and then it broke down. On that breakdown, was that a really strong move lower or was that a weak breakout to the downside? What do we think? This double-sided breakout, when it broke the low of that green candle, was that a really strong breakdown that took out pivots? Did it take out zones? Did it take out support, or was it weaker? Awesome job, guys. Yeah. Nice job, Callie, Joy, Michael, Mark, Dwayne, Greg. Awesome. Weak. So where does that mean we're looking for our zone? We had a guess. Nice job, Donna. Put my 50% line on there. If I'm looking for a zone, where should I be looking with a weak breakout? Nice job, Joy. Mark, you bet. Closer to the origin. So I'm just going to put a box there. Closer to the origin. Excellent. So now I've got some pretty good boundaries for where I'm looking for my short trade. It's going to be in between these 2 lines, which you'll notice 33.40 to 33.49 lines up with the origin, right? All right, so let's do our deeper dive. Let's come down to the 1-hour time frame to find our zone. Okay, 1-hour time frame. All right, so now when we're looking for our zone, we know we're not looking down here. So that cuts out some of the daily zone. So this is kind of a new topic that I've been bringing in to help us identify which zones to take is based on the breakout. And since this had a weaker breakout, we're looking closer to the origin. The zone that I'm choosing is going to be this two candle flip here, green candle, red candle. Going from wick to wick, we have that zone, and that's going to be our prep screen zone, 3340.3 to 3349.6. It falls in that upper 50%. What other odds enhancers do we have with this zone? What makes that zone potentially stronger than this lower zone than if I chose this wick over wick reversal? You could do both, but if we're choosing between two zones, what might make that upper one stronger? Anyone want to take a guess? Nice, Joy. That's one double-sided breakout. The red candle broke above that green candle high and then proceeded to break below it. So that was a double-sided breakout there, which is going to be a really strong zone. Fixing the origin, yep, it's getting closer to the origin of the move, which is where we're wanting to look because of that weak breakout. Strong move away, you bet. Nice job, Tom. Broke pivot. Yeah, so this pivot over here, you can see these zones are in the right location because they took out that pivot to the left. Doji, yep, a lot of dojis in this area. Strong move away. Which one took out more levels of support? So both of these zones took out this pivot. Secret doji? Maybe. This zone, maybe there was something here, a little bit of support. But notice that this upper zone, see all these touches in here of support? And then this two candle flip broke through it. Which zone had to break through more levels of support? The top one or the middle one? Top or bottom? Which zone had to break through more areas of support, the upper one or the lower one? Exactly. Nice job, Terry. So this zone was so strong that it broke through this support and this support. This one only had to break through this level of support. That's pretty good, but we want to find the one that's the strongest. So typically the one that breaks through more levels of support is going to be the stronger zone. So this one's pretty good, but I like this one because it's taking out this level of support and that one. So that's why I'm focusing on that one. Now the zone's pretty large for gold. That's going to be around $900. So to make your zone smaller, I'm just going to bring up that entry line to the close of the red candle. And now I've got a much smaller two candle flip zone that we can set up for today's session. Like that. All right, so we have our zone in the right location. Once you've found the zone, you don't need to stay on the 1 hour time frame. You can if you prefer the lower time frames, that's going to be up to you. But I found our zone within our daily setup. So now I'm going to set up the trade. Right click, sell custom with stop. Our entry price is going to be 3343.8, and our stop is going to be at 3349.6. And that's it. We've got one down. Let's go through the other ones. The next one on our list is 30-year bonds, wick over wick reversal, pending zone. All right, so if it's a pending zone, what do you guys think? Is a pending zone stronger or riskier compared to an activated zone? Is a pending zone stronger or riskier compared to an activated zone? Yeah, nice job, Greg. Great job, Dwayne. Yeah, it's going to be riskier because it really hasn't proven itself yet. And that's why it's pending, is because it looks like the setup, but it hasn't broken above the wick over wick reversal yet. So it is pending, but we'll take a look at it and we'll set up the trade. 30-year bonds, wick over wick reversal to go long. Let's come over to bonds. Ah, no. All right. It's already, is it pending anymore now or is it activated? Oh no. What do we think? Is that a pending zone anymore or is this activated? Once it breaks above that high, it's been activated. So as of right now, we're activated, which means we can look to find our zone now to take a zone trade. Since the activation is still underway, um, we got to be careful with our zone entry. We're not sure how strong of a breakout this is going to be. It could be a short-lived breakout. It could be a weak one. I would say because the trend is down over the past several days where we have a lot of red candles, I'll want to focus in on a zone closer to the origin, just in case it does start pulling back in the context of this higher time frame trend. So based on that, I'm going to kind of use my discretion to say, all right, the trend is down, we're breaking out. I can't confirm the strength yet, so I'm going to target the lower 50%. Any questions on that? You can see as price is coming down, um, we've been dropping, dropping, dropping. We are coming down into a double-sided breakout further to the left. And we're getting a bounce. But again, since we're going against the trend, I just want to be cautious with the long trade. So again, activated wick over wick reversal. You can see it's breaking out, but we're still not sure how strong it is. So let's find our zone on the smaller time frame. The prep screen trade was for the breakout at 113.18, but that's already happened. So now we need to go find the zone. You guys tell me as well if we were taking the breakout trade, our breakout trades. Let's see how I want to put this. Are breakout trades smoother trades to take and easier to get in? Or is it choppier compared to zone trades? What's going to give you the smoothest ride? A breakout trade or a zone trade? Yeah, it's going to be the zone trade. Nice job, Mark, Tom, Donna, Michael. I'm sure you guys know from if you've taken breakout trades, it can break out a little bit, kind of like this one is here, break out a little bit, and that starts going against you. So I definitely keep that in mind prior to taking a breakout trade. So let's find, since we have a breakout, we need to find a corresponding zone that goes with that breakout. Let's come down to a 4-hour time frame now and see if we can find that zone. Okay, we've got a 2 candle flip down here. Oh yeah, so where are we looking? It's nice that I put the lines on there. So where am I going to be looking again? Am I looking in this upper quadrant or am I looking in the lower quadrant? Am I going to choose this doji candle for a possible zone or the lower 2 candle flip? Perfect. See how that helps us out? Since we are going against the trend, I'm going to choose this lower zone. Nice job, Greg. All right, 2 candle flip. It's been activated. And then you also want to kind of assess the odds enhancers with that zone as well. I'm going to take off the daily lines. This 2 candle flip, strong breakout. It's taking out this pivot point to the left. Let's see where that puts us. 113.01 to 112.20. It's a little over 10 ticks. That's going to be $300 on bonds. So let's make our zone smaller. I'm going to bring our entry line down to the close of the green candle. That makes our zone only 7 ticks, which fits my risk a bit more. It's going to be around $180 worth of risk. So we'll set this one up. Buy custom with stop. Our entry is 112.27. Stop price 112.20. We'll send that out there. All right, we're 2 for 2 on our spotlight picks. Any questions so far? And then our target on this one, let's see, opposing controlling breakout pivot. That is going to be this doji right here. That doji is what broke through all that support. So then that would be your target at 114.04. Entry, target. All right, next one, we've got crude oil, long trade, wick over wick reversal, which has been activated. So I like these activated setups, crude oil, wick over wick reversal, long. Let's come over to crude oil. Again, the activated setups are important because it shows us who is in control. If we're looking for a trade in this doji here, well, there's been no activation up here, so trying to trade somewhere right now is going to be elevated risk because there's no activation there. The activation comes from a little bit further down. We've got these 2 red candles. The green candle breaks above to the upside. And that's our wick over wick reversal daily zone. This zone, was this a strong breakout or a weak breakout? What do you think? Crude oil, was this strong or weak? What do we think? Joy says weak. Anyone else want to take a guess? Are we mixed on this one? Let's see, 67.11. I think I chose a zone higher up. So I'd say this activation candle. Yeah, so kind of both with Callie on this one, a little bit mixed. I'm seeing kind of both sides. Let's see, Dan says strong break of wick over wick reversal. Yeah, so you can see the activation candle when it broke above that red candle high, it broke out pretty fast. It closed near the high of the candle. So that would be really a strong break of that wick over wick reversal zone. But then he's also mentioning a weak break of the opposing pivot, right? So if we're looking left, how strong was this breakout of that resistance here? So it broke through it, but now it's stalling. So a little bit mixed, and it's okay to be mixed. You know, it's important to understand what's going on with this breakout, but also see bigger picture that if we are slightly mixed, we may want to be more conservative. I would say because this wick over wick reversal activation was strong, I'll start by looking for a zone closer to that breakout point. Let me put my line on there actually. 50%. I'm going to start looking in the upper 50% for a zone because the activation candle, this green one, this one was really strong where it broke above that candle and it closed strong. So there is a lot of buying coming from our zone here. So I'm going to be looking, I would say mid to upper portion of the zone. Let's see, the zone I took was 1 hour time frame, 67.11. Let's find that. All right, 67.11. You can probably see that wick over wick reversal in here that I'm looking at. Wick over wick reversal zone, two red candles coming down. Price broke above that red candle high. This would be our zone close to the breakout point based on that strong breakout through the prior resistance. If you feel that it's weaker because it's not really maintaining the momentum, then I would say look for the zone closer to the origin. And that one's going to be this two candle flip down here. We've got the red and green. So really two zones we're going to be looking at. All right, so I've got our two zones. Let's do one more check on the daily time frame. All right, so wick over wick reversal, strong breakout. It did close strong. So it didn't just wick above the zone. I would say it would be weaker if it just wicked above and then pulled back. But because it closed really high, I'm going to say that there's more buying strength down here. You can even, if you want to get kind of a bigger picture perspective, go up to like a weekly chart to see what's going on. Weekly, we have a two candle flip that's been activated. So just another odds enhancer for us to look to go long. So I'll set up this trade on crude oil. I'm going to start with our upper zone based on that green candle having a strong close and breaking through that red candle, and the previous resistance to the left. Buy custom with stop. Entry is going to be 67.12. Stop at 66.85. So 67.12, stop at 66.85. And we're good to go on oil. All right, we're doing good. We've got two more. And again, let me know if there's anything you guys are looking at you want to jump over to next. But I've got Dow and natural gas on here. I want to come over to natural gas first, because this one we took in our last class. And we had two zones. Did you notice how natural gas ended up working out? Did anyone see the two zones that we were looking at and which one worked? If not, I'll show you now. Natural gas, two candle flip activated to go short. So at the time of our last class, we had this green and red, which had been activated. We broke down, which activated the two candle flip. And then when we were looking at the activation, notice when it broke down, it formed a doji candle. Is this doji candle a strong doji candle, or is that a weak doji? When it activated this bearish two candle flip. Is that a strong breakdown or was that a weak breakdown? Nice job, Lon. Yeah, so it broke out, but it didn't go anywhere for that entire next day. We found in our last class two zones in that area. I want to show you how and why this piece of information is so important. Is because we're looking at, I believe, this zone, this basing area at the origin of a gap down. I mean, a lot of us know gaps are pretty strong, so not uncommon to choose this as a zone. And then the other zone, I believe we chose higher up. And notice how price behaved with that lower zone. Broke right through it. And it's doing exactly what Lon and Michael are saying, is that because it broke down weak, that lower zone didn't hold, and we ended up coming up higher. So very, very important to bring that tool into your trading. Wow, this is a huge move down. Okay, so let's see. Our new activated setup is this two candle flip here. Green and red. This looks like a pretty strong breakout to me. 30-minute time frame, 3.371. Let's see, 30-minute. So because it has a strong breakout, we're looking in the lower 50%. I believe that's where the zone is anyways. So let's see, 3.371 to 3.393. Looking at this zone right here, two candle flip. We'll set this one up, sell custom with stop. Entry 3.371. Stop at 3.393. And we'll send that out there. All right. Great job, everyone. We've got one more. The last one that I have for now is going to be the Dow. Two candle flip activated to go short. All right, this one's coming up pretty aggressively. So for the Dow, the one that's been activated, we did activate today's wick over wick reversal. So we'll kind of see how this one pans out. But the one that was currently activated at the time was this two candle flip to the downside, this green and red. We broke below that red candle low, which activated the setup. Now you guys tell me, was this a strong breakdown or was that a weaker breakdown? Was this two candle flip activation strong or weak? Fifty-fifty split. Sometimes it can be tricky. Michael, Donna, Callie say weak. Greg, Dwayne, and Michael say strong. Dan says strong. Came into rally base rally over here. Yeah, so as far as strength on this one, I would say that breakdown was strong, but it didn't really take out anything. So it's breaking down. It took out this doji, which is good. But as far as the trend and what's going on, this could potentially just be a pullback into the zone prior to the next move to the upside. So we want to be careful with these setups that are counter trend. I'm kind of right there with you guys. I'm a little bit mixed on this one. Some of them are not as easy to see. So let's just go off of the zones and which ones look the best on the smaller time frames. But yeah, going short, counter trend, it did have a strong breakdown, but it's really hard to tell if it took out anything or if this is just a correction. So for me, I might want to be more conservative in case this is just a rollover, a correction before the next move up. Let's see. So the rally base rally that Callie's mentioning is going to be that target, the opposing continuation doji here. So you can see we're really in between two zones right now. And then our entry 20-minute time frame, 44,972. Let's find that zone. This one was kind of tricky to find the zone. So here's our daily lines, which doesn't really give us a lot to look for as far as at the breakout point. Why I like the 20-minute time frame is because I can see this nice level of support here. And then we broke through it and we've got a two candle flip right on the other side. So this is the zone that I chose. Kind of in the middle to upper portion of that daily zone. And that's going to put us at, again, or sorry, 44,972. 44,972, 45,074. If you wanted to make your zone smaller, you could bring it up to the close of the candle, or you could continue to go down in time frame. But yeah, so this picture, here's our daily zone, and I found a 2 candle flip zone inside the daily. I just want to see if I can make that zone any smaller. Might not be able to, but doesn't hurt to look. 15-minute time frame, getting kind of choppy in there. Let's try a 10-minute. Yeah, I really can't change it too much. You can see it's just a lot of basing and then it has a very strong breakdown. So I'm going to choose this zone, sell custom with stop. Entry price is 44,972. Oops. Sell custom with stop, 44,972. Stop price is 45,074. All right, we've covered our prep screen trades. So just to recap, we've gone over gold, bonds, oil, Dow, and natural gas. Those are our spotlight trades. If you guys have any other ones that you want me to jump over to really quickly, let me know. Keep in mind that we're going to be going over a lot of this tomorrow in the Trading Traps event. So excited for that event. Again, you're going to get the coding for the 2 candle flip. When you register, just let me know if you trade on Thinkorswim or if you trade on TradingView, whichever one. You can see TradingView, for example, we have the 2 candle flips mark. It's only going to mark them when they're activated, which is nice because we don't want to take 2 candle flips that aren't activated. We want to use the ones that have been activated, just like this one that we're looking at today on the NASDAQ. Price pulled back to that 2 candle flip. Here's our marker on that, the 2CF. Price pulled back to it, and now we're breaking out to the upside. We can see we've now activated a new 2 candle flip. So you get that the markers included in the coding when you register. You get the recordings of the event, and really just again learning or understanding these common traps as far as, are you looking to buy or are you looking to sell on the daily time frame? Being able to understand when trend reverses on the smaller time frames and when it continues and how to get in when the moves are underway. And if you are someone where price stops you out just a little bit, how can you get into those trades anyways? We don't want to get stopped out for a little bit and miss some of these moves if our analysis is right. So I'm going to give you some of my key tricks to being able to get back into those trades. All right, we'll do one more. Mark says S&P versus Dow, you bet. So we did the Dow. So let's go over to the S&P. S&P, pretty strong. Looks like price pulled back, came into our continuation doji, activated and broke out to the upside. So now that we have a activated 2 candle flip, we're going to be looking for a zone in the upper 50% because this seems like a pretty strong breakout as of this point. So from the daily, let's come down to a 4-hour. See that 2 candle flip right there. And let's come down to the 1-hour. Yeah, I like that zone there. A lot of basing before this breakout to the upside. So that's going to be trading with the current trend. That's going to be for the long trade, again, based off of the 2 candle flip being activated. really not wanting to pick a top in this case. This isn't a reversal pattern. This is simply a correction into a zone. And now the move is underway again with this activated 2 candle flip. So short trades are going to be elevated risk. Long trades to trade with this current trend are going to be higher probability. We don't want to try to keep picking tops when the markets are pretty significantly moving to the upside. We want to be able to splice in with this current trend. So looking for long trades, if you missed the 2 candle flip, breakout, you can wait for the pullback to our zone or take the next breakout to the upside. Other than that, that's all I got for you guys. You will get the recording shortly after today's session. And then I'm looking forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Again, Zoom links will be sent out later today when you register. And if there's anything else that you would like to see or common trading traps that you find yourself falling into, let me know. Send me an email and I'll be sure to include them in this event. But it's going to be a really great one, especially if you find yourself getting stopped out more than once. Come to this event and you'll learn where those stop outs tend to happen and what to look for moving forward. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you. Have a great day, everyone. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye for now.